Well, as you can see, we're hitting quite the heat wave today. And for the most part, the lambs are just, and the ewes are just seeking shade. And my son and I are out just doing evening chores, and it's, we looked at the temp gauge at Doug's house, and it said about 94 in Minnesota in June, which is pretty crazy. By the way, if ever I was happy, I put hog panels right here. It's this sheep right here. She really wants that dog food, and she's tried every which way to stick her head through there, but she can't make it work. So this is the paddock they're in for today and tomorrow. You can see they've kind of chewed down what's close to the shade, and they have plenty to eat over there, and they'll probably get in there in the evening and tomorrow. See, she wants it. She just can't figure it out. They're not going to steal your food, Shep. But everyone's looking good. Everyone's accounted for. And we're going to go in and get in the shade because Henry and I are sweating bullets.
Here, sheep. I think it was, right? Hey.
Here, sheep. Well, it's another beautiful Minnesota summer day. Ended up being a really hot one, but I thought I'd come out. Doug is, let me see if I can zoom in, way up there running the round baler. I just want to check on this hay. I'm going to buy this hay from him. It's nice and green, and oh man, it looks good. It looks really good. These are like 4x5 bales, and this hay here is really nice. I don't know, it's about 25% legume, clover and alfalfa, and the rest is grass, and I find I like a nice grassy hay. Well, good morning. Well, one thing that I'm doing, which is a little unprecedented in my management practices, is here. I'll zoom in a little bit. You can see a couple of cows. We're actually going to get a couple more steers here in about a month and a half, so I'm kind of pumped to increase the cattle numbers. But if you look, I'm going to zoom back out now, so sorry about this. There. They're getting this whole piece right here for 3 cows, and I'm just holding them here for a couple of days, so they're not rotating like they're accustomed to. And actually, they seem like they don't mind, but I notice immediately that the eating down is much more selective, and I actually don't care for it too much. But I'm just holding them because, in the next few days I'll be bringing my sheep back, and we'll be combining them again. But for now, I didn't feel like, with everything going on, doing a ton of setup and put down for just these three cows. So they're getting about, oh, this is maybe 2 acres. And I'm just going to hold them here for a few days and let them chill out. But I picked this place in particular because these are, well, the black cows especially, they're both, you know, one's 3/4 Highland, the other one's half Highland. Don't do very well in heat, and we're in a real hot spot where it's been in the 90s all week, which is really rare for Minnesota in June. And so this particular paddock has lots of shade. You can see shade. You know, this bit of woods here shades it this way, and in the afternoon that shades it this way. And so they have plenty to be comfortable. And, you know, obviously they have like water and mineral. And I'm just kind of leaving them be for a couple of days. But this does kind of reaffirm my management practices of daily moves. The cut down, the manner in which the cattle are eating the forage in front of them is much more selective and picky choosy, which is not what I want. So I'm excited to get the sheep back to the home farm here, and then you know, we'll get them all back together and get back on the horse with daily moves here as well. So anyway, so these are the pigs that we're raising for just ourselves and then some family. We're not trying to get into another side production. I got enough on my plate without adding 100 pigs or something. But I'm actually just using them to clear out this extremely thick brush area. And I'm just slowly moving them around. And I'm using this old, like I have an old sheep net from back when I first started. But I'm going to start getting them trained to hot wire, like a 1-wire hot fence. I've done it before, and it worked really well. It's just right now, they're like little bullets. They're zipping around and a little skittish. And you know, a week ago they would have been hiding over there because I was too close, but now they're getting used to me, and that's going to help manage that. But you can see they cleared this little section out, and then we moved them to here, and this was all brush, and then I can come in and trim it, and then we're slowly clearing this out, and we're just going to keep pushing back and clear out this woods from, you know, brush and, you know, gross stuff. And the idea behind that is then I can get in and thin the forest out and put grass underneath there in a silvopasture. So I'm getting my silvopasture grown and expanded, and in exchange we get bacon. Yeah, you're kind of a nice one. Wait till you're 300 pounds and you're trying to eat me. Then you won't be so nice. This is kind of the boss pig right here. He's the biggest. Yep. All right. I kind of like pigs, at least at this stage. When they get older and they get pushy, I don't like them so much. But, you know, what are you going to do? So for feeding these pigs, I kind of worked it out with Doug. And he's got a 100-bushel grinder that's PTO powered from back in his day when he was doing dairy. So we just took maybe 40 or 45 bushels of grain out of his bin, and then we added some old soybeans that he had that you know, I gather they won't germinate if you don't use them that year or something. And then I topped off the protein count with alfalfa pellets. And so when this batch is done, I'll just use alfalfa instead of that soybean, but we just didn't want to waste anything. And anyway, and then Doug was kind enough to lend me one of his gravity carts, and so I just drove it at about 10 mile an hour down the road to my farm, and then towed it out here with my tractor. And the pigs are over there, so we're just gonna keep it right next to the pigs, and we'll top them off and make sure they have enough to eat. And you know, we are getting some rain, but it's in the trees, and I have this really high quality actual canvas waterproof tarp. It's been keeping everything dry and really good. These are what I will call our forest chickens. These are chickens that got out, and they were so young and quick, we couldn't really catch them. And I put a bounty on them with Henry, my son. I said, I'll give you a quarter for every one you catch. And he's been slowly catching them. But these guys have lived outside by themselves. I think they're mostly just eating old feed, like from through here. That's why they're hanging out by the pigs. And they're getting a little bit of water. That's leaking a little bit. And, you know, eventually we'll catch them up. We bought these chickens originally to help people at church have eggs. And we got to get them caught up. But they're pretty young yet, and they're pretty flighty. So we need to catch them and clip their wings and get them back with the main flock so we can start enjoying the harvest of their eggs. I mean, they're not costing me anything because we're not feeding them, but I did, I guess, buy them, so I'd like to get something out of them. Forest chickens are frustrating. Well, I pulled the few cattle we have right now back up into the corral. One thing I noticed is I have a ton of thistles I got to nip down before they go to seed. But I gave them some hay, and those two black ones, my original 14 and then her daughter, we're gonna sync up their heats and then AI them here over the course of the next week or so. And so I just kind of have a long lane. I don't know if you can see it. It's gonna go back to their pasture that they were in, and so we'll have the vet out tomorrow. They'll stay in here overnight. You can see I'm giving them water right there, and yeah, and then we'll send them back out to pasture, and then in a couple of days or a week we'll bring them back in and AI them, and we'll just keep that lane open. So more to come on AIing the cattle. It wasn't successful last year, so this is kind of my last, like, all right, let's try it type of thing. But you can look at the size difference between daughter and mother, because we didn't wean. We let the mothers self-wean naturally, and that seemed to really work out well. All right, well, we're at the last day of the very far end of this field that we've grazed on Doug's farm. And you can just see, I was actually looking back at old film, just amazing how fat and big these lambs are. And I think we're going to take them home sometime this week and castrate the ones we don't want to set up as breeding stock. But they're all definitely eating more grass. And to give you an idea of the kind of the look of it from the back of the valley, the field, it just goes shoo, and then there's another 3 acres or so to the right. So it's a really beautiful, beautiful field, and the sheep have just thrived on it. There's even some more back here, but there's such a deep county ditch right down the hill there that I don't feel comfortable fencing it right now. I'll get to it someday, one thing at a time. All right, I gotta be done. I'm getting eaten alive by flies.